Ladies and gentlemen, the movie Head
Head
by the Monkees. Head.
Wow.
Yes.
Not a porno.
This is not a porno, but they did do, they obviously did the double entendre there.
Yeah.
Head does everything.
The Monkees, of course, they called them the Prefab Four. They were manufactured by a couple of directors, Bert Snyder and Bob Rafelson.
Yeah.
And they put the TV show together. They hired the four guys. Well, interestingly enough, the four guys that came together were actually pretty good musicians and pretty good singer-musicians. So they became a real group out of it.
Yeah.
It's quite extraordinary. And the TV show lasted a couple years and ran in perpetuity and in syndication. So the popularity of the group was kind of waning by the time they decided to do this movie. But they decided, the reason that I picked this movie is probably one of the better rock movies of the era. When we're talking the Beatles stuff, we're talking some of the other stuff that was going on, The Who's Tommy. Yeah. This one stands out for its distinctive creativity. It is very creative. And it's also presenting the Monkees as they are, a prefabricated commercial element that is being thrust into this landscape, and that this is the anti-monkey movie in a sense.
Hey, hey, we are the Monkees. You know we love to please. A manufactured image with no philosophies.
We hope you like our story, although there isn't one. That is to say there's many. That way there is more fun.
Oh,
They're trying to defeat their image in this one. They're putting all kind of new music in there that they did not do before. Yeah. But again, it's something that really builds on you. The music is incredible. And let's talk about the cameos they had in this. Victor Mature, the old 1950s movie star. Jack Nicholson, who actually wrote the movie with Bob Rafelson. Terry Garr, Annette Funicello, Frank Zappa, Sonny Liston, the old heavyweight champ. Percy Helton, the old Hollywood character actor. And the great Ray Nitschke from the Green Bay Packers.
Where'd he go?
Oh boy, he just came over.
So this is you cannot find a cast like this in any movie in the history of cinema.
So is this a narrative film? Is this a documentary?
No, it's not a documentary. It is a narrative film. It's a narrative film, but it's more like an art film.
We hope you like our story, although there isn't one. That is to say there's many. That way there is more fun.
Yeah.
Meaning they have segments rather than a whole overall narrative.
It's
if
easy
there's
writer.
a theme, right? Right, exactly, perfect. Because of course Hopper is involved in this too.
Of course.
With Rafelson and Snyder and all those guys. But let's remind everybody who the Monkees are. Peter Tork, Davy Jones from England, Mickey Dolenz, and Mike Nesmith. A little trivia about Davy Jones. He was in the cast of Oliver for a while on Broadway.
Wow.
He was a kid actor, and he appeared with the cast of Oliver the first night the Beatles appeared in America on that Ed Sullivan show. So a monkey was there. And also, another piece of trivia, Davy Jones was the real name of David Bowie. There was another Davy Jones, so he had to come up with another name, David Bowie. So there you go.
A little factory.
A little factory factoid. So, so Head, if you want to call the plot, it begins at a bridge where they're dedicating a bridge in LA. And the Monkees kind of run through. One of them falls off the bridge, and they go into this dreamy little sequence called the Porpoise Song.
Is this the acid portion?
Yeah, this is, let's talk about the origin of the screenplay with Rafelson and Nicholson. The first ideas came out of it through a heavy pot smoking session.
Yeah.
And then once they had the ideas on paper and tried to formulate, they dropped acid and finished the
Yeah.
script. So there you go.
Wanting to be, to hear and to see.
Kids out there, if you want to finish your script, drop a little
It
lysergic.
reminds me of a movie I saw way back that Jack Nicholson, maybe it was the only one he directed, but he directed Peter Fonda on it. And basically, I think it was called The Trip. So
Nicholson did a lot of directing. Drive, he said, was another one. I have to look over his whole list, but
Yeah.
he was not necessarily an actor in the '60s. Easy Rider made his mark again.
Indians.
yeah.
But before that, he was a struggling B actor, and then he decided, screw it, I'm going to go into production. So he started writing screenplays,
Yeah.
working with Rafelson and Snyder, and casting his lot as a production man. He makes a great cameo in this movie because he's the writer of the film.
yeah.
And the reason I say it's obscure is, quite frankly, the Monkees have become kind of obscure. Their fan base is aging rapidly, and really they didn't pick up anybody beyond that. Now, I will say that last year the Monkees did an extraordinary thing. The surviving Monkees, which would be Torque and Dolenz and Nesmith. Davy Jones died a couple of years back, maybe five years back. But the surviving Monkees put a challenge out to the songwriters of kind of the guys like in Weezer and Fountains of Wayne.
Yeah.
Let's get those songwriters out who kind of put the '60s style music out there.
Yeah.
And let's make a new Monkees album. And this album's sensational.
Wow.
It is sensational. And it's a self-titled, The Monkees, and it must be listened to. So here they are. They're trying to make their mark in history, I think, is what their legacy right now. But I think the general youth population, anybody under 30, has not heard of them, unless they're rerun heads or something, So that's why this film is overlooked. But I think if you're a lover of obscure cinema, obscura, plug, if you're a lover of that, you want to see Head, because it is a trip. It's a mind-blowing trip. The music is great in it. It gets better with every viewing, which I can't say about Hard Day's Night, because if you watch Hard Day's Night 10 to 20 times as I have, you still like it, but you know everything.
It's a good movie, but it's a little more manufactured. It's a little more.
Well, I mean, it was just the experimentation of the day.
Yeah.
But it fades a little. This one won't fade. I'm sorry, it won't fade. It will stand up to 30 viewings.
Yeah.
As long as you have the drugs in the house. And kids, become a rock star, because then they'll give them to you.
Take drugs, kids.
I'm giving Head 4 out of 4. I say it must be seen.
Monkeys is the craziest people.
Go see the Monkees.
Head.
Go see the Monkees' Head.
Dumbass!
Head.
The Monkees movie Head. Yeah. That's what I meant to say. I words. Okay. All right. Well, you'll probably agree.